was to shift to especially having the node running on a server of our own. So in the afternoon, I work with some of our DevOps, and the server is already up. I was setting up the server the whole afternoon, and near end of day, I could let the node running. It's not the state that I want. It was just to make it running and just be able to look at it today. The idea is that I will continue working on a lot of things, storing the logs, having a way to restart the server if anything goes down, a lot of things that will be going to work these couple of days. But right now the server is up and the node is running, and that's great because we can look at what is happening in Sepolia. This is running in the Sepolia testnet. So it's just the state transition part. It's not the validators, because in Sepolia we don't have validators. We don't have our validator, sorry. So we are testing specifically the state transitions. So that's running yesterday. Another thing that I was doing yesterday in parallel with that was continue with the F1 data PR. Just to remind you all, that was a bug that after 2048 slots, the F1 data vote changed. And in that change, we have a couple of issues. One was related to a struct that was modified. Another was related to how we are processing the finalized trees. Something that I saw the same bug solved in Tenku, and it was great because that was one easy way to look what they did to solve it. And I was thinking the same, but seeing it was better. And what else? Okay, that was fixed in the afternoon. I wasn't able to check it, so I left the local kurtosis run the whole night. And today in the morning, I saw that everything appears to be working. We passed the 2048 blocks. This is the first time that in a validator test we passed that line, because previously we have another box that make this not working. Then the last one was this at one data, and I'm right now at 4,000 blocks, and everything's working. So that's great. And yeah, I'm going to push the last part of the PR like in a couple of moments, and I'm going to continue working first on the server side and the node that is still running. But probably near end of day, I'm going to be adding a long description about the things that changed, because there was a lot of small changes in this PR. It's not like a lot of things that were done, but there were a lot of small bugs in different places, and I wanted to like make sure it's clear what was causing the issue and how it was solved. So yeah, I'm going to do both of those today. And also thanks Tommy for the review on the other PR, the one related to duplicates and all attestations. I'm going to add the comment you put there and merge the PR like in the afternoon. So that's my updates and what I'm going to work today. So I don't have anything more. If you have any questions, Tommy, or anything to say.
No, no, not really. Everything sounds very promising. I'm very glad that we have the server working again. That's always a really nice thing to have,
Yeah.
because you always have something in the background. Being like the thing is being tested 24/7, and that's one of the things that for a node it's a must. Like there are some things that you may have working that have some errors, like a backend for a web page, like and if something goes wrong and a single connection fails, it's not a big issue. But here, this needs to be working 24/7. And long running tests are like, I wouldn't say the hardest thing to do, but one of the things that is like the easiest to drop. And I'm glad that we're back on track with that one. Yeah, nothing else for me. Just waiting to see how everything goes. And so the next, I'm just curious about the next steps. Are we going like the next things? Next things are like, you already fixed this issue that was going on with the F1 block.
Yes.
So what's the next thing according to you?
Great. So regarding the validators issues, I don't have anything right now that is stopping us for continue pushing things forward. So one of the things that I'm going to do once the testnet node is as I want is having also a kurtosis network in the same server, just to have this like long running test. Because if we didn't have this 2048 running test, I didn't were able to saw what happens. So the idea is to have it more time. I have a 4000. I want it to be running for a couple of days. So that's an easy thing that I wanted to have it also in server. Um, Apart from that, regarding specific issues, I have two things that I saw in the state transition long running test. I am going to create the issues, and I'm probably going to start working on those, because those two are a bit uh, I don't think obscure, but because I didn't like dig into them, but they are something of a problem. They happens on the sync aggregate. Sorry, on the sync, on the optimistic sync. When we are out of sync,
Mm.
sometimes things hang, right? And we stop receiving the blocks. And that's something that I want to look. It's pretty easy to reproduce, because it
Mm.
mostly happens in the first time you start the server. So that's something that I wanted to look at. The other thing that I want to look at is that for some reason the first pruning, and I'm not sure about the next ones, but the first one makes something like this, and like triggers us to sync again, because it appears to be pruning blocks that are not the ones that we want to prune. So yeah, I need to see what is happening. Those two things are the most interesting, I think. So I'm probably going to work on those. What is not related to the server running, regarding the code. I think I'm going to start with one of those two, probably the two, because they are mostly related. Because sometimes the pruning triggers the sync, and the sync stops the node. So that's something that I want to look for. So yeah, I think that will be my next code thing.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like a bug. Sounds like something that needs addressing. Definitely agree on that one.
Right, right. So yeah,
Also, yeah, one question. You mentioned kurtosis on the server. You mean like having kurtosis and also like Sepolia at the same
both.
time, right? Like two
Exactly.
different long running tests.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
and they don't interact with each other. The idea,
Yes.
we just need to make sure that the server could hold both. But the idea is that they are both running, because
Yeah,
right now that's the easiest way to see validator errors. And we are
of course.
going to move to Holesky, as we discussed in between us. But yeah, that's something that I see for a couple of days in, because first I want to have Sepolia working as I want to see it working, and having all the logs when things don't go well. So that's my first focus. Then having
Yes, also for more context, one of the main blockers for Holesky is performance, in the sense that one of the biggest, like, there's a couple of big things that need to be addressed for performance in our node. When I say performance, I mean performance in the state transition. We are not like even thinking about duty calculation, which might be an issue as well, but that's something that we haven't even tested in a long running testnet test. Um, but we know for sure that there are some operations that take a lot of time, and one of the main factors of that is the big number of validators. So things like verifying attestations, attestation aggregates, and that kind of stuff sometimes takes a considerable amount of time. So yeah, that's basically it. And for I don't know if these are still the current numbers, but the last time that I had anything to do with performance, it was taking approximately like 15 seconds or something like that, with a million validators, which is what mainnet had at that point in time. And if I recall correctly from discussions with Martin, we have about 1.5 million validators in Holesky. So, like, we usually don't focus on performance first. But if we want to have long-running tests for Holesky, we need to address at least some of the performance issues first. Yeah, so sorry, I was just trying to clarify like what's the current roadmap or big picture related to the testnets.
No, that's great, because that's exactly what we are having right now. So focusing on the testnet on Sepolia is just for the state transitions. We can make some, so we can detect some bugs related to 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 the validators work if we run local testnets, and that's what we've been doing the last couple of the last week, I guess. We've been addressing a lot of bugs related to validators that were seen on those. But exactly this, the next step is, as you mentioned, going to Holesky, and Holesky being even more costly than mainnet will have the same impacts that we have in mainnet. And one thing is we are not able to follow the block process because we take more time that the blocks are created. So that's something that we need to tackle like right now. So for now, I'm going to focus in these two issues that I found in tested, because they are prior to performance, and they are a bug and they need to be addressed. But probably after those two, if nothing else pops out in Sepolia, the next thing is start working on performance, because we want to have this running on Holesky. So that's exactly the roadmap. And yeah, I think this will be a start in a couple of days. If I can fix the issues that I saw right now in like a couple of days before next week, or in the beginning of next week, then on Tuesday, I guess we will be start working on performance related issues, because we want Holesky running.
All right, that's perfect for me.
Great. So yeah, that's all my updates. And if you don't have anything more, Tommy, then we can say goodbye and see you all tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow then.